welcome back. This is the 7th episode of the Barrel Zone. Today we are going to do an NBA market rundown for Thursday, the 7th of January. We have an ugly 5-game slate. I'm not really in love with either of these games, but we are going to uh, try to find some value as always. If you have any comment or feedback regarding the show, please share it with me through Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at the Barrel Zone. And if you want to hear my sports betting picks and read my written analysis that I post every morning on all the games, you can join my Discord channel through Patreon at patreon.com/the Barrel Zone. I'm going to put up the odds screen now, and we will get right into it. We are using Sports Insights as always. And here we go. So first game on the docket, we have the Brooklyn Nets hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. This opened Philly -3 on the road, and we are down to 2.5. Some shops have a 2. Couple of notes here, obviously, before we get started. There is no KD for Brooklyn. So this is why Philly is opening up as a road favorite. If KD was in, I would probably still make this closer to a pick'em based on what we've seen so far from these two. But yeah. So Philly, I do think, is a rightful favorite. We have to note that this is a back-to-back for Philly. So they played last night. Embiid played 37 minutes, Simmons 36, Harris 41. So the workload was pretty crazy. They played the Washington Wizards. They barely won, but they won, and it was a super high-scoring, super high-paced game. So not certainly something you want to see if you're looking to back a team on a back-to-back set. But I mean, Philly could still get it done here. So yeah, this current line is basically the result of KD being out for Brooklyn and Philly playing a back-to-back. As I said, this would probably be close to a pick'em, maybe Brooklyn a very slight favorite, but obviously KD is moving the line towards Philly. Last night Philly was destroyed. I think before last night's game, they were the highest rated defense in the league. They are not anymore for sure, but they are still in the top 3. What we have to note, I still do believe in this team. I still think at the moment they are the second best team in the East behind Milwaukee, but they played a pretty easy schedule. So they played the Wizards twice, the Hornets twice, the Knicks, the Raptors, the Cavs, and the Magic. I mean, neither of these teams are really a playoff team. I mean, the Raps obviously are hope to be a contender, but we haven't seen that yet. The Magic may be good for like a play-in. But yeah, so they haven't played a tough schedule, and it may have been. It's easy to look good against these teams, but I still do believe in Philly, and I still think they can win this game. When it comes to betting value, I don't really see it. My line is Philly -2.5, factoring in everything, and we just sit right there. I'm okay with anything between Philly -1.5 and -3. I mean, if we get out to like 3.5, 4, obviously Brooklyn has to be a bet. If this comes back towards a pick'em, then we'll hop on Philly. This is how it goes. I could make a case for both teams. I really like what Brooklyn has been doing without KD against Utah, but this is a much more difficult matchup in my opinion. We also have to know that Brooklyn is playing Memphis tomorrow. Obviously, they are down Dinwiddie, down KD. We'll have to see how the minutes are handled, especially for Kyrie, of course. But I don't think they will hold anything back. I mean, Memphis is beatable even on the tail end of a back-to-back. So yeah, Brooklyn is still top 8 defense. I like their offense. What they showed without KD was still formidable, but this is a tough test, and I think we are better sitting this game out. I want to see Philly play against a better team. Just let's see them for a few games against better teams before we jump on them in these matchups. But I think Brooklyn won't be as good without KD as we've seen so far. It was the first game without him. They still have 3 more games before he returns, as he's out for a week, and Brooklyn has a 4-game week. So yeah, we will see some games and how they match up. But I don't think there is any value here. Next game, Memphis Grizzlies, Cleveland Cavaliers. This is at first look, this line was pretty big to me. Memphis is a 4-point home favorite to Cleveland, and we've been talking about Cleveland a lot. They are a top defense so far this season. I still rank them in my top 5. They are playing hard. They are playing decent defensively. The offense is still bottom 5. They cannot really put up enough points to be competitive even against middling teams. They played Orlando last night. The minutes were managed pretty well. Drummond only played 26 minutes. The other starters around 30. So yeah, this is a back-to-back for Cleveland, and this is a very difficult spot. We've been talking about back-to-backs and 13-4s, etc. so far. They haven't been that strong of an angle, but we are getting to the spot in the season where teams are having longer road trips, and this is a 6-game road trip for Cleveland, and this is the 5th game of the road trip. So they are not just playing 13-4, but a 4th game in 6 nights. And yeah, this is getting probably a bit difficult for the players. As for Memphis, I'm expecting them to figure it out against weaker teams. I mean, they won't have Ja Morant for a while. JJJ is still not back, but I mean, this is what they are stuck with. For other bad teams who lose their basically only star, they know that they will come back in a week or so, or something like that. But for Memphis, this is it. I mean, JJJ will come back, but they won't be saved. So yeah, they will figure it out eventually. And I mean, they are 0-4 at home. They are playing Brooklyn tomorrow, which is like almost surely a loss. So I think we'll see 100% effort here from them. And my line is Memphis -4. That's where the market sits. I think anything between -3 and 5 is okay. Over 5, I would have to look at Cleveland. This is a 2-11 total, so it's the lowest total on the board. These teams are both running at a pretty slow pace. They are both bottom 5 offenses and decent defenses. As I mentioned, Cleveland is top 5. Memphis is still like between 10 and 15 in my defensive rankings. So yeah, this will be an ugly, low-scoring game. The spread could matter, so this could be like a 1 or 2 possession game. I'm not really in love with the Grizzlies, so I wouldn't look to back that side, but it's really hard to get on the Cleveland train deep in this road trip on the back-to-back. And after they started the season hot, they are now, I mean, they had a couple of bad losses, and reality is probably setting in a bit, and yeah, we could see some regression. But still, I think they will have the best player on the floor with Drummond, who played low minutes last night. So yeah, I could make a case for backing Cleveland, but I would need more than 4 to do it here. Next game, Portland Trail Blazers hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. This opened up Portland -10. It sits at a very juice -10 now, leaning towards 10.5. I mean, my numbers make this Portland -8, and we've talked about this the last time the Wolves played, I think, Denver. Yeah, they were like 12 or 12.5 point favorites, dogs in Denver, sorry. They are getting extra points now. So if you just look at like net ratings, net line value, and you're hunting for that, Portland should be around 8-point favorites here. You are getting 2 points free with mini, but I mean, do you want to do it? Because I'm not sure I want to do it. I mean, they have by far the best worst defense in the league, bar none. They face the easiest schedule of opponents. They are 2-5, but the expected record is even worse at 1-6. I mean, they are just terrible. They have bad coaches, and they're in chaos mode without Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, without him, this offense is just not working, and I don't want to bet it right now. I don't think they are bettable. I'm not sure that we as bettors, as handicappers, are able to just grasp how much Anthony Towns out means to this team, and yeah, it really seems like they are just kind of they want to get through games and wait it out until he will be back. Yeah, and with Portland, I have a similar feeling with this game than we had when Miami faced OKC a few days ago. I mean, the Blazers had a couple of tough games. This is a super easy opponent. They can score on the Timberwolves, and this might be a game where they break out and like win by 30. We've been fading them when they were laying like 10 points. We've been going against Portland just a few days ago. I think it was with the Bulls when they got 10 points, but the Bulls are just a way better team when it comes to offense and defense than the Timberwolves in their current form. This is the first team in the league. I don't fault you if you jump on the Wolves train here. As I said, I think there is value on them, but I'm not sure I can do it. All right, next game. The Denver Nuggets are hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Opener here was Denver -2.5, and we are looking at a 3 that is juiced towards 3.5. So yeah, early Denver money is coming in. They will get Michael Porter Jr. back. He has been their second best player so far this season. If you look at efficiency ratings, he is an important piece the franchise wants to build on it. I mean, I really hate Dallas. I don't want to bet the Mavs until Porzingis will be back. It looks like he will be back in about 1.5 to 2 weeks. But I show some betting value on the Mavs here. It's another game where I lean towards sitting this one out, but yeah, I cannot lay points with the Nuggets. Offensively, they are coming around. They are third in points per possession, second in effective field goal percentage, third in offensive rebounding, ninth in free throw rate. So, I mean, the offense is clicking and they are starting to score even without MPG in the lineup. The defense has been a huge issue. They lost some wing depth through the offseason. Grant has been amazing for them in the bubble. He isn't there anymore, and I think him out shows definitely. If you look at Denver's defensive stats, they are just terrible. I think they are the 27th or 28th worst defense in my rankings, and they don't have any stat that's in the top 25. So yeah, it's not working. They cannot get any stops, and I'm not in love with Dallas, but they can beat on bad defenses. So yeah, I was looking at the over, to be honest here. It's 225 totals. So I mean, both teams have better offenses than they have defenses, and if anything, this will be an offensive showdown. But the problem is that both teams are slowing down the game this season. If you look at pace, the number of possessions, Dallas is pushing the third lowest pace in the league, and Denver is pushing the sixth lowest pace. So yeah, if you deep dive into the total, you can get to this number, and I don't think it's yeah, I don't think anymore that the over is a good play here. So yeah, at the moment I show some value on Dallas, but not enough. Maybe if this would get to like a 4.5, I would probably have to jump on the Mavs, especially expecting a lower pace game. And the Denver defense cannot get any stops, as I said. So yeah, my lean is the Mavs, but I don't really want to bet them until Porzingis is back. And while there is some value at this number, it's just not enough to make a bet at the moment, in my opinion. All right, final game of this ugly short slate. The Lakers are hosting the Spurs. The game is off the board on Pinney as both LeBron James and Anthony Davis are questionable. I think, I mean, James is always questionable, but if AD is also questionable, the books are taking that a bit more seriously. This is a back-to-back set, so the Lakers are hosting the Bulls tomorrow. I think what is more likely is that both AD and James will sit tomorrow. I would probably expect them to play tonight. Yeah, it's an interesting game, but this 7.5, and we have 8.5 at a couple of shops. This is telling me that this is more like an everyone plays line. So this has James and AD in factored in. The Spurs and the Lakers played already twice, and both games were in San Antonio, and both games closed the Lakers minus 7.5. So we flip the venue, but we get the same line here. The reason is LaMarcus Aldridge is back, and he was out in both of those games. He is worth like 1.5, 2 points. Basically, if you flip the home field and now you get Aldridge back, I think 7.5 is the right line if everyone plays. So yeah, the books are expecting both AD and James to play. And as I said, both on the first two games between these two closed at 7.5. The Spurs lost both games. Lakers won by 6 and 14. So I mean, one was within, one was outside the number. But we've seen this matchup. I think the smart thing to do if you have a book where you can like cash out your bets and that has like a 7.5 or 8.5 up. Get in on the Spurs, wait for the injury news, and if James or AD is out, I think staying on the Spurs is a good move. And if they are in, you can just cash out. And yeah, that's how I would approach it. Not really much to say here. I mean, Aldridge played 25 minutes in his game back. The last time out, he did look pretty decent in my opinion. So I would say this line correction towards the Spurs is probably warranted. So yeah, check the injury news and move on it. But I mean, at the moment, I haven't made any bets on this slate, like official ones. But if you can catch the Spurs at 7.5 or 8.5, hopefully in a spot where you can cash out, I would probably jump on that. But yeah, not much else. I mean, I could make a case for Philly or the Nets. So I mean, if that line moves either way, these are two pretty public teams that are usually getting money. I'm pretty sure this line will move a bit, but I'm not sure which way. But I will probably just fade the line move as you can make a case for both teams. As I said, there is line value on Minnesota against Portland getting 10.5 points, but I'm not going there. I also show some value on the Mavs, but it's a really difficult bet to make as they play in Denver against a really high scoring team, and this will be probably a lower pace game. So that was it for today. Not a lot of value on the board. We have a 10-game slate tomorrow. It looks real good, so I think we'll be probably back with multiple bets tomorrow. Please follow me on Twitter at the Barrel Zone, and if you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/the Barrel Zone. and get in on my Discord channel there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for